right, let's begin. Always the bow of gratitude, the recognition of gratitude for the knowledge, and then thank you for your time, of course. All right, so start with left foot forward today. Remember that we always want to work on this stance as a warm-up, and when we do the stance with our feet shoulder width apart, so there's stability to either side, hands up. I'm going to get the hips going right away. My back foot's going to come up. Now, when my back foot comes up, we're going to be paying a little bit of attention to the idea that I don't do this, but I do this, and then up. So there's a movement this way and then up, okay? And I'm gonna bring my hands to my knee. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now in the same way, I'm going to pick up my front knee, but again, I'm not going to come back like that. I'm going to bring my foot to my one foot to the other foot and then come up. So the movement is always feet together, rise, foot down, and then extend away, okay? 1. And then step forward again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now, hands come up a little higher. Bring the right knee back up. And then push down. And then bring it back up. And step back. Okay, that goes 1, 2. Up, down, up, back. 3, 4, 5. And now, switching to the front leg, back, up, down, up, forward, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then switching. Stability, feel your weight sink down. And starting with the back knee, this time it is the left knee. Up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then the front knee. 1. Always coming back forward. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then the final steps are the up and down movement of the knee. So the back knee comes up, down, up, steps back, okay? 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now the front knee, back, up, down, up, forward. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then shake it out. Push your left foot forward again. And now we switch to the hands. So with the legs sort of warmed up, let's switch to the hands. And now we're going to do 2 hands right away, jumping right into it. So my left hand is up, head height. The right hand is down, the height of the dantian, height of the belly here. And I'm going to tune them together to the side. I'm going to go from high to low and then put back out to the front. So they're moving in unison back. And they're moving in unison forward. Relax. Just sink into the motion. Now, pay attention to your breath. We worked our legs pretty hard there, not bad, good little warm-up exercise for them. So let everything relax, let the breathing settle deeper into the diaphragm. Breathe in when you come back, filling up the belly. Breathe out when you go forward, pushing out from the stomach, from the diaphragm. Let's do 3 slow together. Breathe in, slow. Hold it for a moment, and then breathe out powerfully, slowly. Hold the extension and the exhalation. Breathe in again. Fill all the air you can, out. Hold the extension, push. One more. And out. Focus, push your energy forward, and then breathe in, feet together. Down to the ground. Around the hips and down. Around the toes and up. And open. Shake it off. Put your right foot forward. And now again, we're going to start right away with both hands. So my right hand this time is up to protect my head. And it's good to note that that's the forward leg. So my right leg is forward, my right hand is high. My left hand in this case here now is protecting as if somebody was trying to punch me in the stomach going across this way. But they're moved together. They go from high to low and exchange together. And then they go back forward together. Breathing in, and breathing out. Breathing in, and breathing out. Now, 3 breaths together. Breathe in. Push from your belly through your hand out. 1. 2. Powerful breath out. And 3. And then last time, full cleansing breath. Feet together. Last time for today. And down. On around. Push around the toes and up. And open. Good. Okay, so before we jump into the stretch, I want to do one more thing to just sort of really get the blood to flush through the whole through all of the limbs, all of the extremities. But I want to come back to it when we get back to the training after the stretch. But I'm going to introduce the idea. There's an art, a Japanese art called Aikido, which is fairly well known. So I imagine some of you have heard of it and maybe even aware of it, maybe you've tried it. It's a pretty close sort of relative to Tai Chi in the way that Tai Chi engages in self-defense, in that they're both, the thing that connects them the strongest is that they're both using the weight of the opponent against themselves, as well as balance and dynamic rotation as their main tools. They're not trying to be stronger than anybody. They're just trying to be more fluid in many ways. And anyways, the point of it is this, and I'm going to come back to this, as I said, after we're done the stretch. If you want to do a technique like that, where you're not overpowering someone, but you're manipulating balance and rotation and all of these things, you need to have what they would call an aki, which means harmony, which essentially gate men, aki men, which is the point in which you can engage in that technique. You can't just do it out of nowhere. So if some really strong person is standing there and they're all aggressive, you can't just grab them and throw them. You have to apply the technique in a moment where they can't stop it from happening because of the physics of the situation in many ways. So that's the concept, it's an aki gate. And one of the most important parts about learning that is that you have to be able to reach into that gate very quickly. You can't just like, wait for the punch like this, right? That old joke about people doing Tai Chi and that's not self-defense because who punches you at that speed? You have to have some speed to get that gate to work. So I'm going to do one more exercise for the arms and the legs. And I want you to think that this is to develop the ability to hit that gate, to get that moment when you need it. Because you do have to do it, we're not going to do it really fast, but there has to be some focus and speed to make that work. So to start with, feet shoulder width. Of course, the Qigong element of this is that by bringing a hand forward and squeezing, you're going to draw blood to the hand. You're going to get all the energy and the blood to flow really well. So there's many things going on here. And what we're going to think about is in the form. We have this move here where you push, poke, and you punch. And we're going to think of that punch from here. Now, if I had to do that punch as fast as I could, I wouldn't have time to pull it back and then go out. I only have time to come forward and up. You see, this movement just comes up, and because my body's moving forward, at the very end of that, I can squeeze my stomach, my hand, and I have a moment where there's a gate, there's an opening right there. That's the idea, okay? So we're just gonna do 10 off each hand, starting with the left. Ready? 1, 2, push from your feet, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now the other side, right hand, right foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. So that really gets the blood out to the hands well, but it also shows you that moment. You're doing all the techniques and you get that moment. You can turn it around from there. And now for the feet, it's the same idea. Right foot forward to start. We'll put our hands up. And I want to get my foot into an opportunity. There's an opportunity right there. Just low kick is fine. This isn't necessarily even to kick. It could be just that I want to throw my weight and step. It's just learning to control your balance and have a very strong ability to move to a single point very quickly, okay? So anyways, 10 off each leg, we'll stretch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Clench your ankle. 6, your muscles of your ankle and your foot. 7, like a punch. 8, 9, 10. Switch feet. And now final set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. So that's really good for your limbs to get that extension, get that contraction, but it also, as I said, is an essential part of really using self-defense. I'll tell a story about that after we stretch. So put your feet out, hands on your knees, and now we're stretching. So just relax. Side to side. Push your feet forward, sink down, push your knees out. Put your hands to the floor, push your knees out, let your elbows sink down, and relax. Come up, twist your elbow to your knee, and look up at the ceiling. Other way. Straighten your back. Turn yourself to the left. Point your left foot to the left. Even point the toes out to the left a little bit and really push the weight forward onto the left foot. Opening the hip, turning the right foot towards the left as best you can to maximize the stretch. And then lean into it. Push your hip forward over your knee. Put your hand down, put your heel up, and sink down. Put your back knee down and push your weight forward. Bring your weight back, put your toes in the air, stretch. Walk back to Tai Chi stretch on the right. Flip the foot. Bring your hands to the middle, straighten your back. And then turn to your right. Turn the right foot all the way to the right, even more if you'd like, and just ease into the stretch. Push, lean the head in, bring the head over the knee essentially, and stretch. Hand down, heel up, let her stretch. And put the back knee down and push your weight forward. Shift the weight back, toes in the air, and stretch. Hands to the floor, work your weight back to your left foot and stretch. And then put your hands in the middle, work your feet. Straighten your legs. Stretch your back of your legs, stretch, stretch, stretch before you come up. Stretch, and now come up slowly. And push forward. Circle the hips. Other way. Shake it. Good. Shrug your shoulders and open the arms. Bigger circles. Not terribly fast, except for maybe at the top, a little bit, but just really open as you come down. And now up. And extend palms to the ceiling, back as far as you can comfortably go, stretch. And then down. And then the shoulders come forward. And the hands start to come around forward with them. But it's the shoulders, you see, it's very important. Focus on the shoulder. And the hands get bigger, bigger. Through the shoulder, and breathe in and breathe out. And now breathe in, come down, and extend out, palms down. As far away as they can go from each other. Palm up, and extend back even further. Other side, palm up, extend back even further. And then drop the arms. Breathe in, gather, bring above your head, without any tension in the body, throw all of it down. 2, 3. And then reach up to the ceiling. Extend your mind to your fingertips. And then extend your fingertips as far as they can go. Bring your weight to the front of your feet. Push up through the ankles. Push the toes down. Push the fingertips up. Stretch just the whole body, high as it can go. Bring the heels down. Drop the left hand. Grab it with the right. Don't move your arms. Twist your waist until you can't twist your waist anymore. And then pull your left hand directly behind you as far as you can go. Really good twist today. Stretch and twist. Really twist. And then back to the center, to the front. Switch hands. And again, your waist turns. Then you pull your hand, and then you maximize that twist and hold it. And then back to the center. Let the arms fall. Reach up again, one more time. Mind goes through the fingertips, out, project through the ceiling, into the sky, tippy toes as high as you can reach. Stretch and stretch and stretch. And bring your heels down, take your elbow, pull it behind your head, open the armpit. Switch arms, or elbows, I guess, and pull. And then drop the arms. Shrug, shake it off. With and left hand out. Remember that the arm is extended and that the joints are not in line with each other, but in a slight angle downwards. So the shoulder's higher than the elbow, which is higher than the wrist. And then you pull fingers up and under towards the elbow. Very important, the arm is extended, full extension. Now, pull your left hand back, but keep your right hand where it is, so that when you bring your fingertips up and come out again, you know that you have to get to that full extension of the arm in the same place. And then you do the opposite and pull the arm right in. And then twist. But the idea here now is you can feel the twist going through the wrist to the elbow to the shoulder. And then bring your hand forward. And this stretch, you want your wrist right above your elbow. Don't let the elbow come out like this. Keep it tight. And then simply push the knuckles down with your middle finger against the wrist towards the elbow. and stretch here. And then release the tension on the wrist a little bit and point your fingers to the outside. And you're sort of pushing more against the joint here of the index finger. You're kind of pushing that to the outside and then down and to the outside at the same time, keeping the elbow tight, and you get a nice stretch on a slightly different angle. And this one's really important for martial art, Tai Chi and stuff, because this is a crane wing position. So shake it off. If you look up crane style or white crane style Kung Fu, you'll see people doing this posture all the time. This is a big part of it. This is the crane's wing. And this is a part of a lot of technique where you're, say, doing this in the form. You just steer those fingers across, and now you have a way of sort of latching onto a person's arm, taking control from there. So anyway, right hand, fingers out, extend the arm. Pull the hand back, keep the left hand out so you know how far you have to extend when the fingers come up. Push. Come back in, hand to the center, twist. And then this one, fingers are straight forward, elbow below the wrist, and then push down against the knuckles. Release the tension so that you can push to the outside easily, and then down into the outside. And give it a shake. Put your hands on your hips, turn your head side to side. Roll your chin one way and the other, one way and the other. Look forward, look up, look down, and go around. 1, 2, 3, other way. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so before we jump into class, I wanted to work on this concept a little bit, or introduce this concept. There's two categories I want to point out. There's the category of techniques. So this is a technique, this is a technique, and so on. The form is a collection of techniques. One of the interesting things about that actually is that you don't know where one technique ends and when another one begins, but nevertheless, it's a collection of techniques. But the techniques are built on something called principles. And the principles are sort of the physics of the technique. The principle is the thing that allows the technique to work, but the principle can produce multiple techniques, but a technique is isolated to one specific expression. That's a good way to put it. Okay. So this idea I was talking about, these moments where you you take control of the situation, where you actually express the technique. Remember, if the person's big and strong and they know what they're doing in any way, and you're not as big and strong, you can't just grab them and throw them. That won't work. You have to have a technique built on a principle that will give you an opportunity to express that technique. And this is interesting too, because that requires the person to attack first. Not that they literally have to do it physically, but their mindset has to be that they're the aggressor. You can't actually be the aggressor and express these techniques. You can only do it when the aggression has been thrown at you and you work with it. So anyway, this is very practical though. This is more practical self-defense concept. And I want to introduce it as a part of the training at this point. So we have yin and yang in terms of everything. Everything is a yin and yang dynamic. Yin in this case is going to be the point in which something will emerge. And then yang is going to be the technique that emerges. So if a person attacks you, there's a yin moment where they prepare themselves to attack, and that is gathering, that is breath in, that is all these things. Now, in a very poorly trained, probably drunk attacker, that would look like this. This hand would come back and the weight would shift to the back leg. And that's unconscious, but it is accurate in that the body knows that if it wants to hit forward, it has to rear back first in order to have the power to hit forward. So this is the yin moment of the attack. And in that moment, if you interact in that moment, you can turn the situation around because the person gets stuck here in time for like a tenth of a second. They're stuck, and I don't care how strong they are. If you move in that moment, you will be able to disbalance them. The second moment I'm going to talk about then is this is the yin moment, right? The pull back and the breath in and the preparation. The yang moment is the expression outward, and that one, if it doesn't hit something, which is, that's the point of being a martial artist, is they don't hit you, is it's going to go too far. They're going to overextend themselves, and in that moment, they're also going to be unable to control the balance. So those are two moments to interact into the situation and actually have a result that's beneficial, that's useful. So here's the story, and then we'll go to the form, and we'll see how this works with the form. There's a video I saw, which you might be able to find if you search it on YouTube. It was a guy from the States who went to Japan in the 1950s and filmed training in the dojo of the head of the founder of Aikido style. So he was actually there with the founder. His name is Morihei Shiba Sensei, and he actually had a little interview with the Shiba Sensei. It's a really neat little video this way. But the best part was at the very end, one of the camera crew, who was kind of thought of himself as a tough guy, and he was a big guy. He was definitely over 6 feet and strong. Wanted to have a sparring match with an Aikido person to see if this stuff could sort of work. And so they arranged a sparring match. It wasn't like they were trying to hurt each other, but they were trying to really pin each other, throw each other. It was pretty intense. The Aikido practitioner was very small, right? He was probably 5'5", maybe, something like that. And the American guy was, as I said, over 6 feet. So there's a big difference in size here. And he did brilliantly. He really did, evading all the techniques, flowing, throwing everything, not even giving the guy any purchase on him and anything. He threw him down a few times. Went on for about a minute and a half like that, and he started to get tired. And that is going to happen if the attack continues. You're going to get tired. And it takes a lot of energy to just evade attacks. And this is very important because you can't sustain that. That's not a good strategy. So at one point, the Aikido guy, you could see he was getting tired, and it was getting harder for him to turn away those attacks. He dropped the knee. He came down on one knee. Now that's halfway to the ground. If you go to the ground, game over, right? So in that moment, he stopped being passive, and he took the initiative. And you saw him come down like this and reach out and get a grip on the guy right here, and he threw him right to the ground and pinned him right in that moment. And it was perfect because it showed that difference between the accepting of the technique and the passing of it, which is an important skill. But if you really have to stop the attack, you have to take the initiative. And that's in one of those gates. There's a gate there where you reach in and you stop them before they move, or you could do it the other way and step back, and then they extend their arm, and then you turn in and you take the initiative. It's still a moment where you turn it around. And so that principle, as I said, principles underlie the techniques, is all throughout the form, and I wanted to introduce it in a good, thorough way today, okay? So hopefully that made sense enough. Let's move on to the form. We'll jump right to the second set. You guys are doing amazing with that. Probably have to check in to see exactly where, but I have a pretty good idea where we're at, okay? So, from here, hands up, and begin. Up, single whip out. Now reach. Extend your right arm, shift back, blocking with the left. Now the left foot is forward in cat stance. The left foot continues to go forward to a long stance, and you hit with your right hand. Big circle with your right hand, and then match with a little circle with the left, picking up the foot like it's connected to the palm, pushing the foot out, bringing the foot back up, looking to the corner and pushing the left hand into the corner. Here. Bringing the hand up, big circle, little circle with the right. Up, out, up. Now, using the weight of your left leg, spin around 180 degrees. Now, push down your left foot with both hands. Now, pick up your left foot only with your left hand. Right hand comes into chamber. And then push the left foot forward with the left hand. Bring the left foot back in, hand stays forward. Take a careful, controlled step forward and push. And now, from the first set, brush the knee with the left hand, take a step, push. Brush the knee with the right hand, take a step, point your left fingers forward and punch. Now, I think at that point we've gone past where we were, but that's kind of roughly it. I can see Bev going to answer, but
sorry, we just did the first heel kick after the
just the right hand one.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Well, we just previewed what we're going to do today, then. So you can see the exercises to bring your knees up. Now you're going to have to knead that. So if I face the camera and I've just done single whip, I reach out with my right hand. I come back with my left. You think of two blocks where you've got your left hand on the inside of the right hand. So you move forward and you push back their shoulder and you strike the solar plexus. And then this can actually turn them around by twisting their head around. You turn them around and you kick them away. That's a basic way to look at it. Now, yeah, I'll do it this way. So anyways, the kick part. One, here. My hands are going to pick up my knee. My knee comes high point. My teacher always would say, like, put a teacup on your knee and you can balance it there. Now my palms are up. My palms are going to push forward like this, and that's going to push my foot forward like a heel for the heel kick. And then my palms come back up and my foot comes back. Now I'm facing this way, 45 degrees to my right. I'm going to step down and across with my right foot and push to the corner with my left, 45 degrees. Okay, so I'll do it again this way. From here, I do my kick and I come up. I put my foot down and then it goes to the corner. My left hand pushes into the corner. Okay? Now I do the exact same thing with my left foot. So I do a big circle with my left hand and then a small circle with my right, and I pick up my left foot. My knee comes up high, and then the bottom of the foot comes forward, the palms go forward. And then the hands come back up, the foot comes back in here. Okay? So just a couple times to really just hone in on that. The only difference, obviously, is that in the first one, this strike goes straight forward, but the second one, the strike is diagonal. before you turn to the side and do the rest of it, okay? So from here, I reach out, come back, strike. Big circle, little circle, foot up, out, up. Now, diagonal strike into the corner with the left. Big circle, little circle, pick up the foot, now you're facing straight to the side again, out and up. Okay? So do that on your own for a second, just once, to make sure you got it in your head. Yeah. What I can see, it looks like the idea is there. Watch that when you're doing these, that whatever one hand is more active, that the hand that's less active doesn't fall away. It's always going to be somewhere in this range, just to keep yourself safe. So a secondary guard in that sense. Okay, so the next thing that we do, a lot of people are always like, what is this? Why would we do this? For now, I'll give you a practical reason, but I'll also give you just a reason that it's good to train certain types of movement abilities because you never know when you might need them. So one more time, reach out, come back, strike, pick up the foot, kick out, pick it back up, strike the corner, up, pick up the foot, kick out, and then come up. Okay, now, I'm going to turn 180 degrees. I'm going to use the weight of my left foot, slightly comes down and pulls this way, and then I'm going to rotate on the front of my right foot. And then I'm going to stop 180 degrees. Okay? It's not easy to do, and as I said, it's just kind of good to know how to do this. But here's a practical reason. Imagine somebody was attacking me from this side here, and I'm facing here, doing whatever I'm doing. And they go to kick me, this is a good kick block. The shin acts as a good guard for that kind of thing. There's a style of martial art called Muay Thai, which they're really like the roundhouse kicks, which are kicks that come in like this. And they see them block them all the time like this with your shins. So to me, that's a lot of what's going on here. So I'm dealing with somebody here, and I go, and I protect myself with this whole alignment of my shin and my arm. Okay, so go to the left foot one, the left foot's come up, out, and up. Now I'm going to turn 180 degrees. My hands, my palms are up. Okay, I'm going to push my left foot down so the heel barely doesn't touch the ground, but it's just barely above the ground with both hands. Then I'm going to pull my right hand into chamber position here and bring up my left foot with my left hand, kick out with my left foot, bring the foot back, leave the hand out, and then step and push. Okay, so it's kind of complicated, so we'll do it again. Just with the left here. So you've done the left kick here, spin, both hands push down the foot, only the left hand picks it up, and out, back, and step, push. Okay, one more time. From here, 1, 2 hands down, 1 hand up, push, and step, push. So again, I'm just going to talk about this from sort of a generalized thing. This is a great blocking position for all kinds of attacks that are suddenly coming from a new direction. So I turn to that, and then I keep my balance. Like, so imagine somebody kicks me and then they punch me, and I bring my weight down and I try to pull their weight down. So they get kind of pulled forward. When they want to pop up, I pop up and I grab, and I kick, and I hold, and I strike. So there's this idea of controlling the dynamic once you've engaged, getting an opening, taking the opening, and going forward. It's the best I can do in explaining that. If I had somebody here who could attack me, oh, look, watch. I'll do it this way and see if you can visualize what I'm saying. So, I'm dealing with somebody attacking me here. Let's say I just block, and I kick them away. And now I look over my shoulder, right? And somebody's going to kick me in the back. They could even be punching in the back. Let's call it a kick. So they're going to kick me in the back, and I'm going to block that kick. Okay? Their foot falls down here, and they go to punch immediately because if somebody kicks at you and it fails, the hand will often come forward like this. You see? That kind of makes sense? So you imagine that, right? Their foot fell down and they punch, I block it. I bring my weight to a point where I'm much more balanced. And then I come up and I create that barrier again, get a grip on their shoulder. And I kick them, and then I step forward, and then I strike. So I've controlled the situation once I've engaged with it, and then I've got an opening, and I've taken the opening. That's kind of a good explanation, I hope. That kind of makes sense to you guys? Okay, so we can add a little bit more in there because, well, let's do it time we got. Yeah, we can add a little bit more in there because you already know this. This is from the first set, just slightly repeated. So one more time, practice it here. I turn, both hands down, one hand up only, kick out, step back, step forward. Now the right hand rolls where it is, right here, down, and pushes. Now, the left hand drops to the left knee, brush the knee. Remember when you brush the knee, that the foot turns to the outside. And then I keep my right hand strong, I step and push. Now I'm going to brush the knee again with my right, but this is a little different way of doing the technique after that. So I brush the knee with my right, my left hand comes forward, but it turns fingers forward this way, like a spear technique here. And then the right hand comes up, and now I do a punch. So I end up in that position. The Tai Chi form likes this position, where you have the two hands like this. Okay? So let's do that one more time, put it together. So from here, do the spin, down, up, out, back, step, and push. Brush the knee once, push. Brush the knee twice, punch. Okay? So try that again. Put that together from the end of cloud hands. Both of the first kicks, the turn and to the end of that sequence, please. Okay, the heart of it is there. It's not bad. Yeah, the framework's there. You guys are doing pretty good. I'm actually going to add in a whole other thing, but again, it's just repeating things you already know. So there's a whole bunch now that, not a whole bunch, but a couple more sequences you already know, just add it on to this. And then we'll hold at that for a little while, really hone in on it. So let's do the whole process again, go from here together. So you remember all the details. So I've just finished cloud hands. And my weight has come to my left foot because of the positioning of single whip. But then I continue forward, and as I do, I reach out with my right hand. I cross the center line, my heel on my right is up, and then as I come back to my right foot, my left hand takes control of the center line, and I sink onto a cat stance. I step forward with my left foot coming forward, and I strike with my right hand. I do a big circle with my right hand, and as it comes to an alignment with my left, they work together and they pick up my right knee. My palms push out my foot. They bring it back up. I push into the corner with my left hand, and then I do a big circle with my left. And then again, when my hands align, they pick up the foot, push out, back up. Then turn 180. Both hands push down the left foot. Only the left hand picks it back up. Push out. Bring the foot back, leave the left hand forward. Step forward with the left, roll the right hand, and strike. Now, brush the knee with the left, step, and push. Now this is the one you have to remember is a bit different. You brush the knee with the right, step, fingers forward with the left, punch with the right. Now from here, simply pull your hands to your right side, your left hand a little bit behind your right, clear. So you're doing this kind of a block with your left, your right hand comes back. And then do a hook punch with your right hand. And now we're going to turn another 180 degrees and take off the helmet. behind us. And as we take off the helmet, we do the same sequence we did already before. Then we bring up the foot, kick, and we do this sequence again here. Push, poke, punch. And that's where we'll stop today, because after that it gets really, really different. So you can see it's a big chunk, but it's kind of all stuff you know. One more time. Blocks. Think of blocks. 1, 2. Think of a strike. 1. Now turn them around. Bring up your foot. Kick them away. Strike and block at once. Turn them around. Pick up your foot. Kick them away. Prevent an attack from behind you. Bring the weight down, balanced. Bring the weight back up, create a wall that they can't penetrate through. Push into them. Get a grip with your left hand. Bring your left foot back, step in, and strike with your right. Brush the knee with your left. Take a step, strike with your left. Brush the knee with the right. Push your left fingers forward, punch with the right. Turn to the side. Hook punch with the right hand. Spinning 180 degrees, taking off the helmet and down. Same sequence as before. Around, scoop. And then this is always the same. Kick, push, poke, and then punch. Okay? So again, yeah, it's a pretty big sequence, but you already kind of know most of that stuff. Now, just to sort of have some fun with it too, let's look at that principle we talked about before. We'll review it again before the end of class. So there's the point of entry into the situation at the moment that the person begins the attack, and there's the point of engaging in the situation at the moment that the person's expended the attack and it's led nowhere. So the taking off the helmet thing. My hand is up to do the hook punch, and I turn to do this, right? Well, my hand is up to protect my head in some way. Something's happening, my hands come up to protect my head. This is a moment to come in either before they attack, or a moment to come in after they've attacked and you've deflected it, and then you come back. So we're gonna try both. If I'm gonna be the attacker, my right hand's gonna swing in like this. So you imagine that the punch is coming in here like this, right? Coming in to hit you on the left. And what you're going to do is you're going to step forward with your right foot, bring your hands up to protect your head like this, and then hit with the back of your right hand and the bridge of the nose. Here. And you want to do that at this moment. So if I'm the aggressor, right, I go like this, right there, at that moment that my hand gets to here. That's the moment you're hitting. That kind of makes sense? Okay, so here we go. Watch and try to time it correctly. Right? And so yeah, this one requires you to move in, but one of the things about this, I'll point out too, is that when the hand comes up like this, it protects you. And you want to think about how this punch would be swinging in, and even if it's swung in, you're on the inside of that swing. Okay? Again, anyway. Yeah, but strike, hit with the back of the knuckles, right to the nose, as the hammer, as it comes down, right? As you're taking off the helmet as you come down. Okay, again. Yeah, that's better. Other hand stays up to protect yourself. Good, yeah, so you have a positioning like this. This is Wing Chun, by the way. A lot of Wing Chun movements go like that. Anyway, one more time. Okay, so that was taking off the helmet in the moment just as they attack. Now, if I swung that hook punch like this, right? And what you're gonna do this time is kind of fun, if this will make sense, is I'm gonna bring my hand up like this and I'm gonna duck it, right? I'm gonna come up and duck, and then the hand's gonna swing past, and then I'm gonna move in with the strike, okay? Now, when you do this as a block, this is just as sort of a detail that would make more sense if we were doing this together, but trying to make sure that you would never catch your fingers here, that the hand is closed, and the block is going up against the forearm this way. This positioning has to be somewhat correct because you don't, obviously if you hit this way, it would be bad. Okay, so I'm gonna swing, but this swing should just go right past because you duck. And then you move in, okay? Ready? it's more complicated than you think, isn't it? Yeah, ready? Just duck. And then come right back in. This is like, you know the game Whack-A-Mole they used to have at the fairs, right? You're like that, you go, and then come back up. One more time. That was part of the idea, yeah. So this is an important thing you can see, and you can take any technique and play with it that way. In fact, look at this technique. I reach in. That's taking the initiative as they start their attack. But then I come back, which is to give them the space to completely attack. And then I come back in, and there's this whole pattern of using this back and forth in yin and yang throughout the form. So just think about it, have some fun with it. We'll do that section that we did today one more time, and then that'll be good. I think that'll take up the time. So one more time. And now reach into it, and then pull back, and then move back in, and then tie things up and get rid of it, kick it away. And then reach in again, tie it up, kick it away. Turn to face the new challenge. Down, up, out. Step back. 1. Brush the knee, step. 2. Brush the knee, step. Punch, deflect, hook punch. 180 degrees around, take off the helmet. Down, around, scoop, and kick, push, poke, punch. And that is a big chunk more. Yeah, so you guys know, you're about 2/3 of the way now through the second set. More than that, maybe 70, no, I don't know. Pretty close. The next section is very complicated. So we're gonna go pretty slow through it, but I think this class is doing great for the context that we're learning online and the fact that I'm giving you information on every class that shows a lot of discipline on your parts. Thank you for that, I appreciate it. Any final questions? Thank you very much for your time. Have a great weekend.